Every year, thousands of student athletes across America sign the National Collegiate Athletic Association Form 0803A, or the Student Athlete Form, waiving their right to receive payment for the use of their name and image. Like you, these students, they work very hard and devote a lot of time to their classes. However, athletes spend a lot of time in training for their university as well. While their schools and coaches, they make millions of dollars in salaries or endorsement deals, student athletes can never earn a single penny from their college athletic career. College athletics are a lucrative industry. The most visible college sports would be like football or basketball, generating staggering sums of money. According to Michael Smith and John Orrid of the Sports Business Journal, 12 universities in the SEC, or also known as the Southeastern Conference, they will receive $205 million each year from CBS or ESPN for their right to broadcast their games. Even more money comes from video games and clothing sales. In 2010, according to the New York Times, NCAA licensing deals are estimated at nearly $4 billion per year. Coaches' salaries are even more outlandish. Kentucky basketball coach John Capillari, he is paid over $4 million per year from a program that only makes $35 million to $40 million a year. That is nearly 10% of the revenue for the whole university. How can colleges allow advertisers, arena operators, athletics, manufacturers, retailers, game companies, along with coaches and university officials to make millions and pay these athletes absolutely nothing? Well, here's the answer. University and colleges define athletes as amateurs. Not only are students not paid, they cannot receive gifts or be allowed to endorse products. The NCAA forces students to waive their rights because it says that they are protecting them. The NCAA argues that they may be cheated or bribed, and also by doing this, it is supposed to let students focus on academics and preserve the amateur status. The definition of the amateur came about in about the 19th century when sports became popular. According to Princeton historian and scholar Andrew Zimbalist, the middle class and upper class had ample enough time to play their sports, while the working class athletes, they only had about a half a day off. With them doing that, that's when they began to pay for the working class for the time that they had to take off. Now that I spoke about amateurism, let's talk about how universities and colleges could be fair to athletes. Universities could create a fair policy that treats all students the same. For an example, their Butler School of Music at the University of Texas, they had actually advised their students how to negotiate a contract and to get paid for their performances. Another example might be actress Emma Watson, who enrolled at Brown University in Rhode Island, as she was able to work as an actress in the Harry Potter movies while she was still a student. Imagine being told that you could not make $5 million because you would have to do it for free. I don't think that would work out very well. Compared to musicians or actors, student athletes have even greater need to get paid. Some of the reasons for that might be because their professional careers are likely to be shorter. Colleges may be the only time athletes can capitalize on their success, and unfortunately, they may leave school with permanent injuries, have no medical insurance, and then, of course, no job. We see how musicians and actresses profit off of using their name. Student athletes should have the same rights. They should also be able to profit off their name and image. Let's take a look at Tim Tebow. When he was in school, you could buy his jersey for nearly $349. Andrew Zambala says that the NCAA and the University of Florida, Nike, they all got around this by not putting his name on his jersey, but by only putting his number. No one really knows how much money was made off the sales of those jerseys, but what we do know is how much Tim Tebow actually received off of that, and that would have been nothing. In conclusion, universities and the NCAA would be wise just to go back to the older definition of amateur, which comes from Latin, through the Old French meaning lover of. Instead, they exploit school athletes. Being amateur doesn't necessarily have anything to do with money. Any of us students, whether we are a jazz performer, we're a dancer, or maybe we're even an athlete, we should be able to be considered as someone in love with what we are doing, like the activity. Someone who cares and studies about the activity and practices to be highly proficient, these guys should get paid for what they deserve.